I was asked to do a second video, this time of the filtration of my pond. This pond is basically a wetland filter, two of them, with a lot of help. Every single plant in this pond is helping to contribute to the clarity of the water, the conditioning of the water. From lilies, pitcher plants, forget-me-nots, pickleweed, pennywort, irises, mosses, taros, elephant ears, even impatiens. The bog itself, again, there's two bogs and a standard bog, which you're looking at now. That's an area that's only 6 inches deep. Then it's peat moss and coarse sand, a mixture of 50-50. And the whole area is soaked. Pitcher plants survive in boggy conditions. So that is as close as you get to a natural bog, where the water just seeps through. There's no pipes pushing water underneath it. The waterfalls, they also help. It's a gas exchange. Helps to take CO2 out of the water, ammonia, and adds oxygen into the water. Even this small little waterfall over here. The fairy lilies to the side, the mosses underneath. They all receive filtered water from a huge mass of plants up above. The whole pond works as very similar to a swimming pool. Has two main drains, two return jets, and the waterfall. This area right here is the beginning of the intake bay. The water is pulled into the intake bay due to an overflow, negative edge. So the two main drains don't pull the full amount of the pump on this pond, which does 12,000 gallons an hour. They're regulated by ball valves, so some water is allowed to be pulled into this area. Don't know if you could see that little baby fish as he went through that narrow opening, but he was swimming pretty hard to do so. The intake bay is definitely oversized. It's 17 feet long, 8 feet wide at the widest. And it pulls all the surface debris from the pond into this area, where it then, once it gets through the opening I just showed you, it slows down. That's allowed to fall to the bottom in here where I vacuum it up, or the plants break it down. Everything's based off nature. The filters, the bogs, all work off bacteria. This creeping Jenny The bulbellus, any plant in this picture, is actually inside the pond, even though it looks like it's on the outside of the rocks. The water goes behind those rocks, and they all help to absorb the nutrients in the water. Second waterfall, that acts as my skimmer. There's a 2-inch line in the bottom here that goes through underground and into the garage where the main pump is. That then turns the water around back through here and up into the bog. There's a second pump from my cistern, which is underneath this area. About 500 gallons. And its water source is the overflow. And it's 3,000 gallons. So once the water is pushed up to the bogs, it's pushed down to the bottom of the bog. Once it's at the bottom of the bog, it's pushed into the end of a centipede, which runs the length 20 feet long to the snorkel. The water is then dispersed across the bottom through 3 to 4 inch rock. And that's about 6 inches thick. And then there's 1 to 2 inch rock on top of that, about 4 inches thick. And then the main filtration is 3/4 inch river rock. All the rock is river rock. That's the key. It needs to be around. So anything that gets pumped into the bog itself, it's allowed to go in between all the rock and get trapped. As it gets trapped, the bacteria, the microbes, the worms, the beetles, everything break down whatever plant matter or leftover food or fish waste. And once it's all broken down, it's then flushed out through the rock. Comes out to the waterfall, where it then has to go through more filtering. The plants, more and more plants. I got duckweeds, obedient plant, just a little bit of forget-me-nots. They all help to do the filtering of this pond. There is actually a second bog underneath this area. That's this entire picture. Basically 8 feet long, 6 feet wide, and there's 3 2-inch PVC pipes at the bottom where the 500-gallon pump from the cistern pumps water up to this area. And then there's 12 inches of river rock. There's no graduated layers. There's just 12 inches of river rock, 3/4. 12 to 16 actually. And the water comes up to that gravel. Then it has to make its way also through the plant roots. I believe it's way outside of the season for this to be flowering, but I'll take it. This poor hibiscus, while it's still flowering, the plants have been annihilated. There's no leaves left, hardly at all. So that's it in a nutshell. I mean, it's all about bacteria, worms, bugs, all Mother Nature's wonderful little creatures. And I'm noticing right now, Some creature got to my rock last night. They actually were pulling it apart. Huh. That is one problem I've had. The birds like to toss my moss. Woodchucks love to eat the plants. But it's all part of the story, all part of nature. That whole area is the intake bay. In the fall, it works beautifully. It absorbs all the leaves from the pond. I put a net underneath the waterfall over there, and I collect the leaves. I don't have to fight with it. It's all done for me. And it certainly beats looking at a concrete pond. Unfortunately, no hummingbird happens to be here at the moment. Hoping this video comes out a little bit better than some of the others. I'm not zooming in, so hopefully the clarity will be much better. So again, there's two main drains down the bottom here that gets pulled into the garage. There's only a basket strainer in the garage to catch any heavy debris. And the water is then pushed to the bogs or back to the pond over on this side where it's helping to circulate the pond. Don't know how much you can see down there, but there is thousands of baby fish. They are everywhere. You can't look in any part of this pond and not find baby fish. This could end up being a problem. But again, every single plant along the water's edge and the water all helps to filter the water in the pond. The rocks you're looking at down there are 6 feet deep. And I'm still a little dark from the fires in Montreal. The fires gave me a very dark tea color to the water this year. It's gotten much better in the last month. I think we've had enough rain to wash it all in and give the filter a chance to do its part. Have any questions or concerns? Send me a comment. Happy ponding.